Welcome to podcast 43. Yes, maybe, but yes.
Now, all right. Hello. Welcome to podcast 43. We are here with our friend of the show and guest, third time coming, Cody Workman, to talk about the best, our favorite films of 2021. So thanks for coming back on, Cody.
Thanks for having me, guys. Always a pleasure to be here. This was so much fun when we did this last year. This year was even just so much better than last year too. It's going to be ridiculous to recap all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of time, and so I guess where did you guys kind of want to start in the grand scheme of the year?
Well, I guess we all made our top 10 lists. So I think that it would probably be best to kind of like one person just kind of reads goes off of their top 10 list and then kind of summarizes why that was one of their favorites. And then we can kind of start a discussion that way. I think that was kind of what we did. Last year was a lot more like off the cuff though. Like I felt like we probably had like a 2.5 hour discussion.
Yeah,
it was a good episode.
I mean, like when there's so many good movies out, right? Like, I mean, I was just telling you the other day, I mean, like there's so many good ones. You want to shout them all out and it's just going to get out of hand. But I do think that's a pretty good way to approach it. I didn't know if there were any movies that anyone didn't get a chance to see that, like, you know, you really wanted to, but I know there was a couple that Chris saw that I'm really upset about because we live in different cities and like, but the big one for me that I couldn't see, I think I would really like is The Souvenir Part 2.
I know.
Hogs movie. I don't know what is going on at A24. I hope they're listening. Why don't they, release it on VOD or DVD or put it in literally any theaters?
Hand it off to Criterion. That would be like an interesting one.
Oh, that would be. I would buy that full price too, because I want to see it so bad.
It's weird because the previous Souvenir also had very weird distribution where it took a while to come out, and this one seems similar in following in its footsteps.
The one thing though I will say with the first Souvenir is it ended up on Amazon Prime kind of quick, like it kind of had like a normal life. This one, like, I can't even figure out when it's gonna be released. To my knowledge, they haven't sent out any screeners, so even like our friends in the critic community, they haven't been able to get to see it, depending on where they live. So it's just like, what's going on? I don't know why that particular film is just so hard to find this season. But that's the big one. I didn't get to see Worst Person in the World, Bergman Island. Those are some of the big ones. I'm sure there was a bunch of other ones I didn't get a chance to see, but those are like the three major ones that I didn't get a chance to.
Definitely my three that I didn't get around to seeing that I'm eagerly anticipating. Sans the ones that I'll see next week, which come out, like Drive My Car, Benedetta, and A Hero. It would have to be Bad Luck Banging or Looney Porn. You heard about this one?
I've heard it's great. That's another one I missed.
Yeah, it's a Croatian film, and I've heard it's wonderful. Filmed during in the pandemic. It's everybody's got the mask on, but everybody's got masks on and stuff, so it's very endemic of our time. And then I would also say that Celine Sciamma's new film Petite Maman, I also did not get around to see, and that's one that I desperately would like to watch. And then also The Power of the Dog. That's probably my biggest.
You didn't. That's the easiest one to see.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to be talking about that one in a little bit because that's one of my favorites. You got to fix that board. You got to fix that. There's actually a couple of Netflix movies that I think kind of went under the radar that I hope y'all get a chance to see.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, it was, I just have a little list of stuff. So Belfast, Titan, Lamb, Benedetta, Flag Day, Annette. I did want to get Coda in, Drive My Car, Memoria, and Buck Breaking were the ones those were the ones I was trying to get at.
I also was unable to get Memoria in. I'm trying to wait till that comes to theaters. We live here in Georgia, and it's just like
it's gonna be difficult for that one.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, it's tough stuff. I also didn't get a chance to see Buck Breaking. I heard some great things. I really, really wanted to see it, but I was unable to. But yeah, I think about all the other films, Fulton, you can probably skip like 40.
Yeah. I mean, Annette, I really want to see Titan. And Flag Day, I've always been curious about it.
Flag Day I got to see that in theaters. That's a wild experience. Definitely not one of the best movies of the year, but like, whew, oh yeah, you got to see that. It is definitely worth watching. Some really fun stuff in that.
And I guess for people who might not know, I don't know, for Memoria, the release of that, the theatrical release of that, is if and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going from one theater to another, correct? So that's it's kind of hard to see if
Yeah, I think they might be showing it in a couple. It's so confusing to me, and they're not releasing it digitally.
No, it's one cinema each time. It's only one print of the movie is playing at each place, like, so one cinema at a time.
One cinema at a time.
Okay, that's
so it's the same print going from each to each to each.
Yep,
that's fascinating.
I guess it does save money on the distribution side. I would have to imagine.
It's so gimmicky. Like, I mean, I know that they sent out,
but they're sending out screeners for it. Like, what's the purpose of? That's going to eventually hit Pirate Bay. So
listen, give me 3D, give me Smellorama, give me 4D.
Those
are the gimmicks I'm interested in.
I just feel like it only hurts the people that. It only hurts the common folk, It's like people in like, I don't know.
But even then, I don't think that they're super interested in that,
I mean, it's going to hit Athens in like what, 4 years?
4 years.
Yeah, it's going to be like, and by that point, everyone will forget about it. But
he'll have a new film out already.
Right.
Apichatpong Weerasticle's new film Memoria unfortunately has not come here, so we didn't get a chance to see it, and so we can't really talk on that one. But other than that, I guess let's get started with what our favorite films were, at least what we've seen so far up to now, because this list is still ever growing and ever changing, because there's still plenty of things that are just coming out from last year from film festivals and whatnot. But as of January 11th, my list stands for my top 10 as number 1, Licorice Pizza, Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie. So I don't know. I feel like we can foster some type of discussion, because me and Fulton seem to be a little bit more positive on it than Cody was. Not that he was a hater or anything, but just maybe not as glowing. But no, that's the thing, is like, I actually really liked Licorice Pizza. I give it a pretty positive review. It ended up making just outside of my like top 40 of the year. Really charming, got some great needle drops. The performances are all really strong. I just really wasn't quite invested into this particular story. I thought the characters were a little bit too narcissistic and hard to identify with. There was just kind of generally, like, for me, I was just found it a bit annoying, to put it mildly, or I guess harshly. Wow.
In terms of just the way the characters interacted with each other. And I do think some of that is intentional, and I can admire it to a point, but it's definitely not my thing. Certainly not going to be my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie, especially when you compare it to his other like 70s work, Inherent Vice. Well, it's not obviously in the 70s, but the 70s set piece. And that film is like one of my all-time favorites. It's like super laid back, and I really think it does kind of have a bit more of a lovable vibe to it than Licorice Pizza. But pretty much everyone else I know disagrees with that. I know you both do, because everyone's just like, this is the warmest, sweetest, most lovable movie ever. I'd love to hear some more thoughts from you two.
Well, I think what I really liked about it was the kind of loose structure of it, which gave way to how it's just kind of like you're spending the summer with these people, and you kind of see Alana's character mostly kind of come of age through these different stages and through these different encounters that kind of make up her final realization at the end of the film. And I think it really does a good job just kind of guiding you through this kind of the life of somebody that's stuck, like, I don't know, I would say 7 years developmentally from like how old they actually are, like a 25-year-old that still acts like a teenager and is kind of stuck at home, kind of working a dead-end job, but is kind of almost interested in just kind of being wanted. And it's not like, I don't know, it's not like like people have talked about like, oh, the attraction between Cooper Hoffman's character and Alana Haim's character is like,
Gary.
So Gary and Alana, it's weird. But I don't think it is at all, because it's almost like she doesn't want him for that reason. She almost just kind of like likes the attention, and it just seems like a very kind of childish way of acting out. And it's like he's a lot younger and just kind of this hot shot that wants this older girl, but you just kind of go with it and just kind of enjoy the film. And then when it reaches the end, you almost feel like it's, I don't know, I don't know how to put it, but it just never came off as weird. It just kind of came off as like these two people kind of both realizing different things about like what they want in life, and her kind of finally reaching that climax and realization. I just don't think that anybody else has done that like PTA has with this film. Like there's really no other film that I can think of that kind of captures that coming of age spirit and fervor in like that way, compared to Licorice Pizza.
With me, I don't think I had as strong as like an emotional resonance as maybe like you have, but I just feel like it's a really good like hangout film, and there's plenty of like I think there's plenty of actors that like, even though they have such a small time in the film, they like really do like capture your attention. Like Bradley Cooper was probably my favorite. And then the John C. Reilly was a really nice cameo as well.
Sean Penn and Tom Waits. That bit is so good.
The Sean Penn and Tom Waits bit is great.
But
the whole supporting cast just terrific.
It's great, and I think it's a really, really, I think it's an extremely well made film. I really like the cast, like you said, Cody. I don't really have any negatives about it. My like biggest thing is like I'm still dying to like catch it in a theater that's less populated, and I know I've talked about this briefly on the podcast before, but the viewing experience that I had with this movie was probably one of the worst in quite some time. So I'm really looking to rewatch it to kind of gain a better understanding about the movie and more or less like how I feel about the movie. I know that I do like it, but I don't have I don't have a very in-depth reading to where I would like it to be with the film. So that's kind of like what blocks me.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I think sorry to cut you off, but I do think it's one that I think would grow on me if I saw it again some more. I just, some of the as I mentioned before, like just I really can't, especially with Gary, get behind that character 100%. I find some of the behavior like just like really shitty and like really mean, and I was didn't quite understand it. But then you also got to think about like he's
like a teenager,
15-year-old, and they are 15-year-olds are shitty. So then it's like, okay, but then it's like, I also have this whole thing, and y'all have heard it, this spiel about like, I really don't like coming of age movies. I don't find that time of life particularly interesting, no matter who you are. And so certainly not going to be interesting to me if you have a really kind of difficult character. But that being said, he really does write some amazing scenes with these characters. They really have some like a great supporting cast. They're beautiful look. I mean, there is some really genuinely like funny and emotional moments. So there's a lot to love there. It's just didn't quite click to me, I think, in the way that it did for Chris and to an extent you, Fulton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say, Fulton, that second watch in the pretty much empty cinema kind of solidified.
See, that's all I want. I just I want to
Yeah.
go see it in an empty theater again. I feel like there's a lot of movies from this year that I really I kind of want more time to kind of sit down with. I just haven't had that much, I haven't had the time because I've been trying to get in other movies to revisit some other movies, which the classic, do I rewatch something or do I watch something new? So it's just that debate,
Yeah.
Well, number 2 for me, and it was close. Like this very well could be number 1. Maybe in like 2 weeks time, I may actually have a big think about it and it may change. But Red Rocket was phenomenal.
Terrific,
Sean Baker's new film. I just loved everything about this movie. I think that Simon Rex deserves an Academy Award for best actor. Maybe I would
say he's killer.
He's so good. Perfect casting, especially if you've listened to Simon Rex's music. You really think like this guy really is Mickey Saber in a lot of ways. But it also like something about like rural like decay is a very interesting topic to touch upon, and this movie really does do a good job with that, kind of implicitly addressing those issues. Kind of Mickey Saber returning back to this just totally dead end town where there's just like nothing going on, and it's just very, very desolate and sad. And just kind of the people that he comes across from his past and like his interactions with his wife. I mean, it's a very like sad movie, but it's still also very funny at the same time.
Yeah, extremely funny. Yeah.
And then like me and Cody have talked about this, but the ending is just, it's like, what a way to like write an ending is.
How do you come up with that? Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, it to me, like, it's amazing to me just how unpretentious I think Sean Baker's films are. Like, it's really wild. I've been really getting into like David Gordon Green lately, and there's a lot of critique about how he kind of can sometimes lean a bit more into his Terrence Malick influence, who I love, but is pretty pretentious. And it's just kind of amazing how like down to earth and real you feel a lot of these characters are. And there is a certain level of mockery here in Red Rocket, but there's also a kind of restraint to go full on something like, the awful Don't Look Up, which we all saw together Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
It still feels like it's in our world. These characters do feel like real, genuine people, especially as someone who grew up kind of in the South. I was like, I know quite a few people who are just like this. So it's a really impressive piece. Just made number 11 for me, Chris. Like it's just outside that top 10. But it is terrific. Great watch. See it in theaters if you can, if you're comfortable. Killer movie.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I just, at first when I finished it, I didn't know how to feel, but then the more and more I thought about it, I just couldn't stop thinking about how like undeniable, if I can use that to describe a film, but I just couldn't stop like thinking about it. And Chris, I agree. This is why I think we should start our own in protest of the Oscars. We should, because Simon Rex, I mean, it is a fine performance. And I know it won't happen because I don't think like enough people are seeing it, but it is getting a lot of there are a lot of people talking about it, but I really, really, really wanted to see this in theaters, and it just wasn't coming out. And then I saw it, and then it got announced that it was coming to theaters near us. I was like, shit, All right. Well, but I don't think I have too much to add other than, what you guys have already said. But yeah, please go see it. I watched Tangerine in prep, which is another great Sean Baker
Oh,
film.
terrific. Yeah.
Yeah. And because I got a chance to see the Florida Project in theaters as well. And I don't know. It's a real treat when you get to see his stuff in theaters, because there is a lot of there's a lot of care to the visual style of the film, and I think it is kind of it is a little subdued in kind of some aspects, but he's a film stickler, so he's always got that going for him too.
Rare for me to say this, but I've also met Sean Baker and shook his hand. Very nice guy. But and
I've
also
only met a guy
Rex.
named Sean who happened to be a baker, but Sean Baker.
I met Simon Rex and he smoked me out. So
holy shit, that's so cool. And number 3 on my list is The Worst Person in the World, which is the new Joachim Trier film. Is really just, I don't know, just a very, very lovely film about kind of finding purpose in life and kind of like where things get you. And the final message of the film is pretty much like, if you're afraid of doing something in your life, like, or you can think of all these scenarios and fear for all these outcomes, but like usually the bad thing that actually does happen is not usually what you even expect it to be. And you just kind of, your biggest regrets in life are sometimes, or you can regret a lot in life if you don't just like kind of seize the day. I don't know, very kind of positive thinking. It's just a really lovely film about just kind of chronicling 4 years in the life of the main girl, Julie, who also Renate Reens, I can't pronounce that well at all, unfortunately, but she does a very good job. Unfortunately, my pronunciation isn't doing her name justice, but please check this one out. Neon really knocked it out of the park this year with like all the things that they put out, like
killer slate.
Yeah, for sure. But that's really all I want to say. Also great use of the Art Garfunkel cover of The Waters of March in this, which is a
what?
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
I gotta see this.
Yeah.
With the lead actress, she is immediately charming. I will give her that. I don't know how crazy I feel about the film, but I also think this is a film that I could revisit in like 2 or 3 years, and it would probably hit a lot more harder than it does right now. And I can totally I can see everything that the things that you're talking about with the themes of the film. I can totally see all that, and I think it is it's a very important and timely message. But I don't know what was going on with this viewing. But like I said, hopefully in a few years it might ring a little bit different. But it is a very good film. I want to know how they did there. Well, there's a certain scene in particular which I won't go too into detail, because it does strike me as like a lower budget film. But I really want to know how they shot that, because that was very interesting.
I know what you're talking about for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, was that digital photography?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. It still looks great. It still really does look very pretty. But yeah, I don't think I have too much else to add to that one.
Okay, so
check it out.
Killer soundtrack, by the way, which I guess Chris has already like
killer
touched
Sounds
soundtrack.
great. I gotta see this.
Number 4 this is kind of cheating. I mean, Can't Get You Out of My Head, the new Adam Curtis. I mean, you can log it on Letterboxd. I mean, it's one part. It's 6 parts, but it's like one complete work. But it's like 480 minutes, and it's just like pretty much just a British man talking over archival footage and telling you crazy stories. So it's just kind of right up my alley. Kind of tells all kinds of crazy stuff, whether it's like, I don't know, just a story about Tupac's mom who was a Black Panther, or the story of this guy that created like modern conspiracy theories and like what people perceive as like the Illuminati, who was like really good bowling buddies with Lee Harvey Oswald. So it's on, you can watch it on YouTube if you don't live in the UK, because it's through BBC iPlayer and you need to have a UK IP address to use it. But yeah, it's really, if you really like, you know, documentaries, but also documentaries that also just are batshit insane, and you just like are interested in like, you know, history, then yeah, please check this out. Hypernormalization was his previous film, which I'm also quite a big fan of, but kind of a very niche fourth pick, I would say. Do you have anything?
I mean, it's interesting. It's like this one, and then the Spike Lee Epic Center
9/11.
in New York
yeah.
piece. I really wanted to see too. I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't watch that, Spike Lee.
I've heard it's really good. Like I've heard it's
Mm.
really, really good. And you guys both know how big into Spike Lee I am. It's just been like,
yeah,
it's been a crazy year. I'm watching movies all the time, and it's like I gotta sit down and watch these episodes. But I definitely on my watch list.
Titane is my fifth.
Titan.
Titan.
That's how you say it in
Titan.
France.
But Julia Ducournau's second feature is
more like Julia DeBorno.
Hey,
this one was not for me.
Damn.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's all right. I remember, yeah, you weren't as crazy about, but you can't appreciate one thing, right, Cody? And that's the use of future islands in this, right?
I can appreciate that. It's an amazing scene. Amazing scene. I mean, like on the level of, clearly she's been watching some Claire Denis, the queen of music drops. And that is one for the books. About the only thing great in the movie, but it is great. So that's undeniable. I didn't hate it, but it's confusing, it's convoluted, it's, you know, kind of two movies pushed together into one. And you know, I think one of those movies is actually pretty interesting, pretty good. And then the other more controversial, which I'm sure most of the listeners have probably heard about, is just really doesn't work. The whole pregnancy angle, as well as kind of what it says about technology, really does like add up to nothing for me. I was really disappointed there. But that being said, there is a lot to admire in the movie, and you know, you got to give a movie props for, you know, swinging. It's really ambitious. But it did not connect with me the way that I know it connected with a lot of other people.
I would say no movie has made me more uncomfortable
than that.
The nipple part, the nipple rip part in the shower. I don't know, just like that. There's
that man. It's so small. Like it's just a little. You know.
No, and then the car crash, I think, was pretty. I don't know. There's the
way the opening works is pretty great. That car crash is intense.
I don't know. There's just quite a few parts in the beginning, especially. I don't know. She's a very Ducournau is a very good director when it comes to like directing. When it comes to like making very gross out scenes. Like, I mean, I thought Raw was not as shocking as maybe people were making it out to be when I eventually got around to seeing it. But like, there are definitely some scenes in that movie that did make me quite queasy, like when she was like eating the heart, or just like I don't know. And the car crash in that movie as well, actually.
Yeah. I guess we should also shout out the amazing Vincent Lindon. Like I said, Vincent Lindon is how I say it. But he is just killer. I mean, one of the performances of the year, I think, in this movie.
Oh yeah, no, he's
even
great.
Though I wasn't crazy about the film, he is I mean, to use one of Fulton's words, he's undeniable. He is to me, in terms of supporting performances this year. He's pretty high up there. Just terrific. I mean, really, really brings a lot to his character. And I wish the movie had kind of focused in solely on the relationship between the protagonist and him, as opposed to kind of drifting off into the sort of pregnancy serial killer side, which just really, really undercut some of the more profound moments she's able to get in there.
I was honestly surprised that it won Palme d'Or. Honestly, I
am too. I mean,
yeah.
it's because this isn't a movie that's that loved by critics. You know, like it's got some fans, but there's quite a number of people who kind of feel the same way that I did, and I just, you know, really an interesting choice for sure. Wild though, when you look at some of the movies that were in Cannes this year, that I think are quite a bit better.
Well, that's, I don't know. I appreciate them for kind of picking things. They do tend to pick things a lot of stuff. They tend to pick a lot of out of left field stuff. I at least appreciate their expertise when it comes to most of the other film festival picks. You know, at least.
I mean, even I'll agree. This is much better than Daniel Blake. Like, it's much
all right. Well, Cody, I don't want to get into an argument on this.
we can talk Daniel Blake some other time.
But number 6 on my list is Stillwater.
Oh my gosh, I knew it was coming.
Todd McCarthy's.
I thought it was going to be like 3, so like 6 is fine. But oh my god,
I've been like talking up this movie to so many people ever since I saw it, and I never would have expected it to be this much. I would have never expected to be this much of a fan of Stillwater. Like because like the trailer, people were like,
it's a terrible marketing.
It's an awful
terrible
marketing.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, wait, so is it like an action movie with Matt Damon? Like, does he like go to France and like beat the shit out of people to rescue his daughter? And like, I don't blame them for thinking that. But I mean, once you also, you know, once you understand that it's like a Tom McCarthy movie, like he doesn't really do action movies. You know, I don't think of Spotlight or The Cobbler or The Station Agent to be yeah,
I've seen so many of his movies.
The Station Agent I actually really love. That's the only one I'm like really like I really connect to. I've always thought he's kind of and to an extent he's improved a little bit in Stillwater, but he's just not very imaginative behind the camera. I not to say that I think Stillwater looks bad, but you know, you compare it to like some of the other films that I'm sure we're going to be talking about, that I'm just like, man, like, come on, put the camera somewhere interesting, man.
I can see where you're coming from with that one, Cody.
You know, like it's a little underwhelming there. But that being said, Chris, I do agree with you that it was better than I expected. I kind of went in thinking this was going to be a meme, and was like, oh, actually, Matt Damon's pretty good.
He kills it, and fucking
really.
I hope he. I don't know if he will, because I don't think a lot of people. Did a lot of people see Stillwater?
Not too many, and it's, you know, it came out kind of early in the year.
It's not as bad as Joe Bell.
We still got another month till Oscar nominations. Like, this is a long, and then the Oscars aren't until like March 26th or something crazy.
Yeah, they're late.
So we got a long season ahead of us.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope he gets nominated. I think he does a really good job, and I thought it was going to be kind of like, you know, there was the other movie where an actor had to LARP as a blue collar working class American, and that was Joe Bell with Mark Wahlberg, which I didn't get a chance to see, but
I wanted to.
People seem to be quite negative towards it.
The reviews are brutal. It seems in such poor taste. But I will have to check that one out, maybe under the influence of some substance. But
it's just the idea behind it, like,
it's so cruel. I don't know what they were thinking.
Well, I don't know anything about the plot. I just know that Mark Wahlberg gained a ton of weight to play it, and I want to see that kind of where that level of dedication gets him with that performance. Like, I'm just out of pure curiosity. Because you know, me and Chris have Mark Wahlberg is not a, you know, very good person, but makes for an interesting screen presence, which me and Chris have come to learn this year.
Yeah,
I think
very,
you know
so.
But
also Camille Cottin, she's a Virgin.
Oh
yeah,
she's very good too.
Very good, and also quite a breakout this year, I would say she was also in House of Gucci. As well.
Right. As,
yeah.
drivers. Yeah.
Do
I
not
forget.
play with my
Damn.
things. I do not. I don't consider myself an ethical person. She's like she's like.
So I did not
threatening her.
watch
With the
Joe
spoon
Bell.
and yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, she is terrific in Stillwater, and she's pretty good in House of Gucci. You know,
I didn't even register that was the same person, but I haven't seen House of Gucci since November, so it's been quite some time.
I wish I could unsee.
Yeah, which honestly,
some of it
No,
was
no,
really
just-
fun, but some of it was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing, Ridley?
is your cousin Paulo.
It's
me.
He's my I that's who I want for supporting actor, because
He
you know,
deserves it.
Yeah.
none of the good supporting performances are getting nominated. Like, let's face it. So it's gonna be like, you know, who we rooting for? Yeah,
Mhm.
Jared Leto, absolutely.
He fucking kills it. He's the best part of that movie, easily.
So insane. I've wrapped around to that. It's a brilliant performance.
It is. He knew what
I
he
agree.
knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Number 7, Annette. Leo,
Terrific. That's in
Leo
my top
Carac.
10.
Yeah.
A very good year for Adam Driver.
Yeah, very good year of the
Very good.
driver.
Very much.
But
yeah.
Annette is, it's very operatic. Sparks does the music, and times it's actually it's timed quite well to come out the same year that Sparks documentary came out, that people were really talking all about, that Edgar Wright directed.
Yeah, Edgar Wright. Yeah, true.
And so it's all about spectacle. Leo Carac is also just a very visionary director, like probably one of my favorites currently working. I'd say he's just, I don't know, like Mauvais Song, it's just a beautiful film. Boy Meets Girl, Holy Motors,
Lovers on the Bridge.
Lovers on the Bridge.
Yeah, he's great.
And so, he also doesn't really direct a lot of movies. His last movie was Holy Motors, which was like 9 years ago. So it's always a treat when he does get behind the camera again. So this year we were quite fortunate. Adam Driver, killer performance as just as a really bad guy.
Yeah,
he killed it this year as
I
the
know,
villain.
Yeah.
Marianne Cotillard. How do you say her name?
Marion Cotillard.
Yeah. Gosh, we were like the triple threat for like mispronunciation.
Oh, honestly, it's bad.
No, I was looking at my list. I'm like, there are too many foreign films. We're gonna be butchering this, but yeah, you're right. This is just so good, and like, it's been a great year for musicals. My number one's a musical. I think we all know what it is, but there are a lot of just really strong musicals that have come out this year. Weird kind of resurgence of some of these like genres that have kind of died. Something like the Western has come back pretty hard this year.
Yeah, the harder they fall. And
you also got The Power of the Dog, of course, and then you had a film like Old Henry, which I really liked, starring Tim Blake Nelson, and then you had Concrete Cowboy, which came out earlier, and then you have some other like pseudo westerns like Cry Macho, or that sort of thing that I thought was pretty interesting. It's kind of weird that we're seeing like Dear Evan Hansen playing in like major multiplexes, and In the Heights and West Side Story, and of course you had this kind of artsy Annette. There was another musical that just came out, wasn't there, that I haven't had a chance to see. Joe Wright's new film. I'm blanking on with people.
Cyrano, the
Cyrano, yes,
Bergerac,
which I've heard is pretty good.
It looks rough, honestly. I mean, maybe it's good, but the only Cyrano for me is Roxanne with Steve Martin.
Oh, that's a sweet one. That's one of the sweeter, certainly better than the half of it.
Yeah.
I love Alamos Fool, but that was in this.
Oh, the half of it was that was a rough one. Yeah, for sure.
So,
but yeah, I mean, the thing about Annette though is that it's not like the music isn't. I wouldn't say the music is like, other than the opening number, like the music wasn't anything that I was like crazy about, because it's all just the dialogue is all like sung. It's like kind of like a Demi's Umbrellas of Cherbourg in that way, where it's, or you know, Young Girls of Rushford, where it's just kind of like everybody just kind of sings the any type of dialogue. But I don't know, it's just really captivating just how they hit those notes, and how they kind of explain stuff like down to like the just most horrible stuff in the world, like when Adam Driver is like, I don't know, killing people. But,
Yeah, it's I mean, you're kind of right though. The music isn't really the draw here, although I do think the music is a little underrated by some. It's more of kind of what they're doing behind the camera, the way the performances kind of work out. Adam Driver has these really great stand-up, like one-man show bits that just absolutely steal the movie. And
yeah,
Marion Cotillard has some amazing like opera moments, and the stage settings are just so beautiful. I mean, it's a terrific movie all around, just really, really, really impressive. So I couldn't agree more with that placement.
okay, well, number 7, and this is gonna be
Wait, number 7 or is this number 8?
or sorry, number 8. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, and that was
Gotcha.
7. 8. Belfast. Number 8 is Belfast.
Belfast made the top 10.
Belfast is a good
Looked out real
film.
quick.
Code. Belfast is a good film.
It's a good film, but it's like, you know, it's like 53 of the year, not, you know, 8.
I don't know. I mean, listen, all I'm saying is it's a sweet movie. Ignoring the the conspira boomer politics of Van Morrison. The music,
Hey,
really,
the music is so good.
Music's
that's
so
that's
good.
great. I can appreciate that. Didn't
And
you? Oh, go ahead.
what it's also, I don't know, it's very nice semi-autobiographical account of Branagh's childhood. I appreciated the cinematography. I know it's had some detractors with
that's where I'm gonna disagree. How could you? That they don't even get it in focus in time. Like that's what blew me away is when I was like, because I saw it in a pretty big theater, and I'm watching it and I'm like, why is this not in photo? I even talked to the manager and I was like, hey, like, you know, sometimes you go to these AMC theaters and the projectors aren't always, you know, great. But then I started talking to people. They're like, no, there's just a couple of shots that, you know, the focus goes in and out. And I was like, what are they using autofocus? Like, what is going on? And I that's what really got me. I do think it lands the emotional beats pretty well. I actually like the kid, which is
yeah,
rare.
he's a sweet kid. Yeah,
he's pretty sweet. And you know, it is, you know, pretty solid. It is super cheesy. I mean, it's super sentimental. It's super, you know, there's these moments where they like go to the theater and they're watching films, and there's a like High Noon reference that is legitimately like makes me want to pull my hair out. But it,
yeah,
you know,
like
it is sweet.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I mean,
I can't believe
this
this is in your top 10. I Stillwater I can abide by because that's funny, but Belfast, I'm like, what is going on, Chris? You got to see.
You're gonna hate mine.
Oh no!
just wait till.
Oh no! All right, what's number 9? Tell me number 9.
Oh God, Cody, Malignant.
Oh, hey, that's a great pick. That is a great film.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Choice. Let's fucking go.
I that is in my top 30. I thought about there's 2 films I thought about putting in my top 10 just because I was so impressed with what they did. Malignant, and the other film was Guy Ritchie's Wrath of Man. Those were the 2 films that I was like, I can't believe how good these movies are.
I still need to see Wrath of Man.
It's terrific. Terrific film. I mean, some of these directors are really doing some of the best work they've ever done. Someone like Zack Snyder, for instance, like really knocking it out of the park early. Like it's really been a great year for some of these kind of cult filmmakers. And
just
is a great example.
Just out of curiosity, where did Army of the Dead? Was it
Oh,
Army of
yeah.
Thieves?
Army of the Dead. Army
that
of Thieves
one-
came out a little later. I didn't
okay.
get a chance to see it, but yeah, Army of the Dead I thought was pretty fun. I think Chris, we saw that together, right? We
No,
all
I wasn't there. I unfortunately.
Okay, I know there was a group. There was a few people
Yeah.
who went and saw that. We were able to see that in theaters.
Was that 2020?
Yeah, that
Nope,
was
it was-
2020 movie. Me
Oh,
and
damn.
Fulton,
For
you and
some
I
reason
watched
that-
that together.
I remember us watching it. I
Wait,
just couldn't
Army of the
remember.
Dead was this year,
Yeah, well,
It was-
this year as in 2020. You mean last year, 2021?
2021. Excuse me,
Yeah,
the year
yeah.
that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just curious if it had,
2020 for some reason.
Yeah.
if that or Justice League had fallen on your list, and if
Justice
so, where?
League's got an honorable mention.
Okay.
I'm gonna eventually when we get to it, I'm gonna just name 8 movies that I just liked.
Okay.
Real
Okay,
fast.
gotcha.
But that was one that I was. I mean, yeah, along with *Malignant*, these movies are just they're terrific.
Fantastic. Yeah,
They're
it's
so good.
amazing.
They're fully realized. They're well acted. They're super entertaining. God, the choreography in *Malignant* is
No, it's fucking
stunning.
great. That deserves an
stunning.
Oscar right
She
there.
honestly, the lead in *Malignant* would make my short list. I'm blanking on her name, which I have written down here.
Annabelle Wallace.
Yes, Annabelle Wallace is terrific, and it's been one of the best years for performances I've ever seen. And she is phenomenal in that movie.
I basically it just made me so happy that James Wan has the amount of kind of filmmaking, capital as a filmmaker to just get something like this made, because I really don't think that anybody else would have been able to get a major studio to finance something like this. Because it's such an insane idea when you think about it.
Yeah.
I can't really get too deep into it without spoiling it.
It's like one of those when we were talking about Red Rocket, how does someone think like this? It's amazing.
I'm
amazing.
so pissed I didn't see this one in theaters, because I kind of put it on as a thing to just kill one night, and holy shit, that was probably one of the best nights I've ever had.
It is such a good time.
I cannot explain the feeling you get from watching this shit go down. It's amazing.
Where is my mind?
Oh man, it's great.
Oh man, it's so good. It's you can't love this movie. Anyway, I mean, I adored it.
I don't know. It has quite a fair share of haters, which is what I
don't understand. I mean, I think some people just
it doesn't take itself seriously. It's so ridiculous.
point.
Every character.
That's why it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's good. It's camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrific.
So yeah, James Wan's *Malignant* is number 9, and then my number 10 spot goes to Pablo Larraín's *Spencer*, which I know
you're killing me here, Chris.
Cody has a bone to pick with that one.
What
too.
is going on? I know that movie's got a lot of love. It's a beautiful score. There's a pretty solid central performance there too, but gosh, I mean, it's coming off Jackie, which I thought was just great. Same thing kind of with Licorice Pizza, although way more. I could not connect to the lead here. Just Princess Diana, who I have a lot of respect for and know a bit about in real life. It's obviously we all know the story. It's very tragic. I did not feel like they did a great job at kind of building empathy or sympathy or anything for this character. I could not relate to her situation. There is a little bit with the eating disorder that is disturbing, but then they kind of undercut that with this horrible dream sequence, which I know a lot of people have praised, and I've just been
dream sequence.
I couldn't believe what I was watching in the theater, and it just it was frustrating to me, because there are moments. There's a great story in there. And obviously it is resonating with a lot of people like Chris and others, but I was just really, really disappointed. It might be one of those things where you have super high expectations and it's just not quite met, but
I just found it to be just a beautiful film. I also think that Kristen Stewart's performance is also was just really good, and that's kind of why it really stood out to me. And I really don't know a whole lot about Princess Diana, or don't really necessarily care too much like about who she was as like a person and stuff. I just find it to be like a very engrossing like kind of snapshot of somebody's life. Not that, you know, I'm not no shade, but I'm just saying like
Chris has some shade with Princess. You heard it here first.
The British royal family come at me.
The royal family.
I do have some thoughts, but I'll kind of get into mine in a bit when I get to my list.
But yeah, that is my top 10. And then just one honorable mention that I really would like to just plug. And I think that I probably everybody shares the same sentiment, and that is M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
Yeah, I'll be talking about that in a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, but
that's a killer.
It's another good time. Good
yeah,
time.
Fantastic.
So I guess I'm curious to hear what your top 10 is, Cody.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I might do it like backwards, right? Because you did 1 through 10. I'll do 10 through 1. Okay. My number 10, and I mentioned before, like Red Rocket, just barely missed it. Movies like The Last Duel and The Tragedy of Macbeth and No Sudden Move and Great Night and About Endlessness and Pig and Writer's Just. I mean, there was so many movies competing for this top 10 list that I was just like overwhelmed.
But I will say this. Sorry, No Sudden Move. A good Matt Damon cameo. As you come to suspect with Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah, with Steven Soderbergh. I wonder if he's going to pull it off next month.
I hope so.
That would be sick. So. But no, I No Sudden Move is the one film this year that I'm seeing like shockingly little about, given just how good it is. Like it really is just terrific. I mean, a lot of people are talking about Brendan Fraser, but there's a lot to love there. And Don Cheadle is just amazing. Reminds you why he's a superstar.
Well, I also think like, I'm sorry, just in terms of like his iPhone photography, it's probably his best looking iPhone film to me. I'm missing a few of them, but it looks like the best evolution of it yet.
And his I wasn't aware it was shot on an iPhone. Interesting.
I'm pretty sure he's doing everything on iPhone. But you can kind of see on the sides of the screen where like kind of the camera is it concaving or convexing? You can kind of see it kind of curving at the ends. But I mean, still, I thought it was a very good movie. I would recommend that one.
Yeah, I did too, and the cast is just so good. So yeah, I wanted to shout that out because no one's talking about it, but it's it's so good. But my number 10 was Paul Verhoeven's Benedetta, which I know y'all are hopefully seeing this weekend when it comes to your local theater.
Don't worry, I'll be there. I gotta
support the number one Paul Verhoeven fan has got to see it. But no, it's terrific. I mean, it's so well acted. It's so trashy. It's so, really answers and digs into these questions about religion. There's some interesting COVID commentary, even though it's kind of before COVID, which is kind of fun. There's some really just like there goes my book, but there's an amazing finale here. I could talk about this movie forever, but I will wait till y'all see it and we'll talk in person. But yeah, see that. Fantastic film. Fantastic. Number 9 was Annette. We already talked about Annette. I mean, it's great. Just great. I see it Amazon Prime. I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, which sucked. But just terrific. Another film right here, number 8, is by a filmmaker named Robert Greene. And this is on Netflix right now. It's a documentary called Procession.
Oh, the Catholic Church one.
About the Catholic, yes. And it's a group of gentlemen who were molested by or sexually abused by priests in their youth, use drama therapy to kind of help overcome and deal with some of that trauma. And it's very, very upsetting. It's a very angry film. It really, really is a difficult movie to watch, but it's also incredibly moving. I think it's the best documentary of the year. I think it's if you're going to see one film this year, this would be the one that I would probably say, yeah, I think everyone should see it. It's going to make you upset, but it's also got some really beautiful moments. There's some really great solidarity and just the love that some of these people have for each other. It's really just an excellent film. I could not recommend it enough. Obviously, trigger warning. It is, very, very difficult to sit with. It's I mean, to a point where like I had to pause it at one point and just kind of take it all in.
I can imagine. Yeah,
it's terrific though. I will say. I mean, it is a very few times do I say like a movie is just genuinely great, but that Procession, I wanted to put it at number one initially, and I was just, there are like a couple of things that you might notice cinematically that it's not, maybe not quite, a little rough around the edges, but what really matters is there, and it is terrific. So that's my number 8. Number 7, which is another film which I think y'all are about to get near your local art house, which I just cannot get enough of. This is on everyone's number 1 is Drive My Car by Hamaguchi, who is, he had another film, Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy, which I missed. Hopefully going to see that soon. Looks like it might be coming to a theater near me, which I'm excited about. But Drive My Car is, I mean, like everything you've heard about it is true. It's terrific. I can't wait for y'all to see it. Over 3 hours long, or right at 3 hours, I should say. I don't want to give too much away. I don't, want to say too much about this particular film. Are
vehicles used as transportation in the film?
There are vehicles in the film. There's theater.
Is there a Beatles needle drop in the film?
That would be. I actually was expecting it, Fulton, but unfortunately, wasn't.
Has Murakami? Has any other Murakami novels gotten film?
Well, the big one was Burning a few years ago.
Oh, that was
what was that 2018, right?
Yeah. I didn't know that was a I didn't see Burning, actually. That was a big one that I missed.
Oh, it's terrific. I do think Drive My Car is a little better, different filmmakers, but it's terrific. And I haven't read the Murakami story that this is based on. I understand that the filmmakers actually kind of put together several short stories in Drive My Car, which is interesting. But as someone who hasn't read the story, I found it riveting. I found it really, really emotionally resonating. The performances are terrific. I think you both are going to love this movie.
Cody, I'm sorry.
I'm looking forward to it.
Next week is going to be so great.
I cannot believe
Benedetta, Drive My Car, and A Hero all in theaters.
Yeah, I know. I also haven't seen A Hero, so I might be in the area soon, so we should go check that out. But yeah, that's terrific. Now, my number 6 is a little controversial in this circle, even though it is getting a lot of praise. Saw this film in IMAX right before Christmas. This is Lana Wachowski's The Matrix Resurrection.
I agree, Cody. I agree.
I cannot get enough of this movie. I cannot get enough of this. This is so terrific.
Did we watch
meta? I mean, really, like I could not believe that this is what they decided to do with the film. I genuinely love this one. Blew my expectations out of the water. I think Fulton as well. I don't know about Chris, but like I really did like the Matrix sequels. I'm one of the defenders of those, and this actually surpassed them in my book. Like I think this is really just as terrific as it could be. And Fulton, we got to try and talk Chris into liking this movie.
Yeah,
I can see what we can do.
Please convince me. But I was.
I've already tried, Cody. Me and Joseph tried.
I was so excited to see this movie. I was like, my friends were just singing its praises. It's super metatextual. And then I was seated in the theater and I love the opening. I think the opening is great. Like, I think it's so funny that Keanu is a game developer and like he's taking blue pills as medication. He's just like stuck in the Matrix.
He's working for Warner Brothers.
And
that to write another Matrix. Yeah,
that was great stuff. And then it kind of loses me when it gets into kind of just a conventional action movie where it's like we have to rescue Trinity, and then the final act is just, ooh, I just did not care. I don't know. I was just very much not a fan.
That's when like I can understand where you're coming from, but I just felt a lot of like heart and emotion in that kind of final act, and
it
that's
feels
where that
overly
really swings
sentimental. I don't know,
but I think it's such a beautiful thing when you're like in the Matrix, when like literally you have like kind of nothing to live for, and like because I can understand like kind of where I came from, and I find it to be very beautiful in the fact that kind of when you're facing all this uncertainty, I do find it kind of to be a timely message where like if you just kind of not rely on the people near you, but you know, you have people to turn to that you can love and that will support you even during like this shitty time, which I think a lot of people can kind of like get behind with,
especially in these times.
COVID.
Like,
yeah.
I just and like Fulton, like the whole like Matrix, it's all like Trinity and Neo, like that's what makes the movie. Like that's the relationship where the movies kind of have to like lean on. And this movie, they actually like, there's this beautiful scene where they're just sitting in a coffee shop. And they're not talking about the Matrix. They're not talking, well, they're talking about the video game a little bit, but they're not really talking about, exposition or any sort of like, crazy plot device that the Wachowskis have made up. No, it's just a normal coffee date. And you get to see this couple like kind of fall in love again, and it's really, really sweet. I mean, it's you are right that it is sentimental, but unlike something like Belfast, I found it earned, and I mean it really blew me away. It was so great in IMAX. The sound is amazing.
Oh, I agree. It was amazing seeing it in IMAX.
And one thing that's odd to me is people have been complaining about the visuals. I thought the visuals were quite good. You're never going to be, some of the stuff in the trilogy, but it, for what it is really quite excellent. Certainly wasn't a disappointment, at least in my book. So yeah, that's my number 6. I mean, terrific. I wanted to put it in my top 5, but
I'm happy that you guys enjoyed it more than I mean that earnestly. Like I wish I could be on board with this. Like I wanted to like it so bad. Like I don't know.
Because at first I didn't know how to feel, but then the more I thought about it and the more I kind of looked into the production of it, it just kind of like it just made so much sense, like to me. And I don't want to reuse it, but undeniable emotion to me in that movie.
I'm with you. Like she has got to be like obviously like when the Wachowski sisters are together, it's amazing. But like seeing Lana like here, it really did move me. Like it's really like what an accomplishment. I mean, what to go back after all these years and give us something this rich. I mean, I really was amazed. Just terrific. I think it's so good. Obviously not for everyone, but for the heads, I think they're going to be really happy.
Well, just to kind of throw one last thought in there, I also think it's interesting that like speaking to the meta kind of the meta themes within the film, there's a scene where the CEO is talking to Keanu Reeves, like, listen, it's going to happen with or without you. And that was the actual conversation that I think Warner Brothers had with Lana Wachowski.
With Lana, yeah.
So having that kind of reading on the film, because you can't really market Matrix Resurrections. Like you can't really simply just tell people what it's about. It's such a like an anti-product that Warner Brothers wanted so bad. And I just think that even makes it even better in my mind, because it's like, it's not, it has action scenes, but it's not really, that's not like the main focus of it.
Yeah, what's so, I'm thinking, just talking about this movie makes me want to move it higher, because I really did love it.
Well, it's kind of poetic in a way, Cody, because you used to be a Matrix hater.
I did.
And then,
Oh wow.
And then I rewatched The Matrix the other week, and I remember you texted me and you said, "So you like The Matrix?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you don't like The Matrix, and you're like, "That was the old me."
That was the old me. If you look at my list, and we'll talk about this maybe in just a second, but there are a few things that I have evolved. 2021 was a big year for me. I graduated, got some big jobs. A lot of changes in my life, a lot of changes of all of our lives over the past few years. And one of those changes is the Wachowskis are brilliant and the Matrix.
No, they are brilliant. I love the Wachowskis still. I mean, Bound was when we covered Bound the other day.
I know, isn't that that was one of my favorite films I saw last year that I had never seen before. I mean, really. That's a brilliant movie.
And Cody, you like Speed Racer
for me,
right?
Yeah.
I do. Speed Racer
is
so
great.
It's so great.
Unfairly, hated upon.
I would kill to see that in the theater. That would be fantastic.
I know in LA they show like film prints of it. I'm like, so,
John Goodman
someday
eats.
Oh, he eats. And their politics are always so good too. I could just talk about them forever. They're so great. But my number 5, I think Chris mentioned it earlier. M. Night Shyamalan. Old. This was to me, I'm a big M. Night Shyamalan fan. Y'all did a little episode on him last year. I mean, it wasn't little, it was just a regular episode, but it was amazing. And you talked a little bit about Old. Terrific film. Really blew me away. Probably my favorite of his since Signs. And that that's saying something because the man has made some really great movies since then. But this is another film that has some sort of meta self-referential moments to it, but it's also terrifying. It's so well acted. It's kind of keeps you on your feet. You know what's coming, but it's still so tense. And just the way that some people have been criticizing the politics of the film, and I actually kind of pushed against that because I don't think it's inherently wrong to criticize big pharma, especially the pharmaceutical industry, given how they treat people, and that doesn't make you anti-vax or anything like that. It's more about how they exploit people, and I think it's really, really powerful. I think it's really clever. I saw the film twice. And the first time I saw it, I did love it, but I took some issue with the ending, specifically the very end of the film. And on a second watch, I found myself a bit more forgiving. There's definitely some beauty in that final shot that I think I might have missed on the first watch. So I do think it improves on each watch. And I think it's just going to be a major cult classic going forward. I mean, it's terrific. I mean, M. Night is one of the best to ever do it, and I'm so happy for him. Just amazing.
And he's already on work on another.
And he's
killing it.
Yeah, like a year from now, I think that film's going to come out. So that's so exciting. I can't wait. I mean, he's on a roll. I'm glad it was a success. I could talk about Old forever. It's awesome. My number 4 was a film that Chris mentioned earlier by the great Jane Campion, and that's The Power of the Dog on Netflix. I cannot believe you have not seen this, Chris. This is another just beautifully acted. Talk about gorgeous. I mean, exceptional cinematography. It's got a great score. It's got just a killer screenplay. This is one
Benedict
of those films.
Better. I could see him snagging the.
I think it's going to be between him and Will Smith. And I liked King Richard. I know some people didn't like it, but he does do a pretty interesting performance. But I do think Benedict is just amazing. One of the best performances of the year. Jesse Plemons, of course, great. Cody, not me, but Cody. Gosh, what's his last name? I know it's. Cody Smith McPhee. That's
he's good.
Cody Smith, he's fantastic. Just won the Golden Globe, and obviously Kirsten Dunst is amazing. I think it's a great movie. Jane Campion's one of my all-time favorite filmmakers, and she does not disappoint.
It was a 15-year hiatus from filmmaking, right? Before this.
Well, she was doing Top of the Lake.
Oh yeah, she was doing the TV show,
which is terrific if you haven't seen. I haven't seen all of Top of the Lake. There's 2 seasons, but what I've seen is amazing. And yeah, she's just some of the best films ever she has made. And so this is one of them as well. I think it's just terrific. My number 3, this might be the most contentious pick yet. This is a film that I saw in October, around, I think it was September. It was a film that had pretty good reviews going in. I had high expectations, and they were surpassed. This is a film that when I think about it, I think it's one of the great movies ever. And that's Paul Schrader's The Card Counter.
Holy shit! Really that high?
This is one of the best films of Paul Schrader's career. Talk about a
oh my god!
I mean, this is it's so well acted. We've been talking a little bit about politics here. Talk about great politics. I mean, this is a film about what's been going on over the last 20 years, and kind of I've never seen a film about kind of really at this level dealing with Abu Ghraib and torture, at least in such a critical angle. Some people have argued something like Zero Dark 30, but Zero Dark 30 also kind of praises it in some ways. I think it's got a really layered performance from Oscar Isaac, who's my pick for male performance of the year. And it's just, the more I think about this movie, what this movie does, how this movie looks, it just really clicks. I think this is one of the best movies of the year. I know almost everyone who, is friends of the show hates it. Just hates it, and I don't understand it, because I think this is just.
I don't think I hate it.
I don't hate it.
I definitely find it to be a very awkward film in terms of like the filmmaking and the acting as well.
I just don't think that he does the Bressonian riff super well when it comes to who he got to play. Like, Bressoni is like non-actors. And he's using like Oscar Isaac and Tiffany Haddish. And I don't even think that Tiffany Haddish does that good of a job when it comes to like being very pale faced in this. She's still very lively. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Because he is, and I mean, the performances I think are really good. And a lot of people have kind of mentioned that Bresson edge to it. Although I didn't really feel like it was quite as blank face as some critics were making it out to be. I do think that there are a lot of very interesting layers to each of the characters. You take someone like Ty Sheridan, who's got this really wild backstory, and there's a really unexpected twist that happens towards the end with that character that I just found fascinating, and I found like completely unexpected. I do kind of disagree with the fact that, like, with Bresson's whole thing is, like kind of taking away the performance, and you're kind of looking at like an archetype or like, various different, it's kind of harder to see the individual, I think, in a Bresson film. And this is one where, it's super important to see the individual. So I kind of, there is truth in that. It is kind of restrained in composition and music cues and all of that. But I found the composition's great. I found especially all the interiors in the casino amazing. I did like Tiffany Haddish. I think I'm the only one who likes Tiffany Haddish. I think she's really funny, but I think it also adds a really interesting, as you mentioned, awkward but intentionally so element that I just found great. It's one of my favorites of the year, top 3.
For me, right, because I think we were doing our blue collar episode in preparation and anticipation for it, and that by far has got to be the best film I've seen all year, because I love Blue
it's
Collar.
Great, isn't it?
It's a fantastic film. So like, and it's not fair for me to kind of compare those two, because they're two very different things, but that was kind of the level of filmmaking I was looking towards. And they are two very different things, but I don't know, I could revisit it, but I think I'll probably go through more Schrader before I get around to rewatching The Card Counter again.
I definitely would recommend, if you could, there's a film called The Walker with Woody Harrelson from 2007. It went straight to DVD. and it's kind of feels like a warm up for the card counter for me.
Okay.
Woody Harrelson is a little bit, that character is a bit more wild than the Oscar Isaac one. Oscar Isaac has that really great kind of like, he really conveys regret and self-loathing like no one else. And Woody Harrelson's a little different, but that is a film that I think also kind of deals with crimes of the Iraq War and everything kind of going on in the 2000s. That's still kind of going on to an extent, not necessarily with Iraq, but all throughout the world, that I think is just really, really interesting. And I know, I'm sure Chris has seen this from, I hate to bring up another podcaster's name, but Will Sloan has made
we bring him up
we praise Will Sloan and Justin DeClue all the time.
And where you got to respect Schrader. He's making movies about contemporary issues and contemporary events and problems, unlike any of his other peers. You look at something like First Reformed, and I've still never seen a film deal with global warming quite like that.
What a great film!
What a great movie! And I do think First Reformed, of course, is better than The Card Counter, but I found The Card Counter a pretty worthy follow up. I don't think I'm convincing anyone to like The Card Counter.
I honestly, Cody, I would like to see it again in a different setting. I mean,
I'll watch it with you. I'm open to rewatch.
Because I remember, because I saw this with Reagan Jones in a theater, in our local theater. We saw it opening night, and we were excited. The theater was maybe like 20 people or so. There were 2 walkouts, which is always a good sign. I mean that genuinely. When someone walks out, it's a ton. There was a walkout.
5 people walked out of Matrix Resurrections.
Really?
Yeah, it was a family.
It's just proving Cody's point.
Oh, that's a great, I had I'm trying to think, there was another movie I saw that had a walkout in theaters. No, old didn't have a walkout, which I was disappointed because it deserved one.
If I saw Malignant, probably had some good.
Benedetta had a walkout, but it was Benedetta was the. I think I've told you both about this experience. Was how like Fulton, the licorice pizza experience you had, like Benedetta was. There was a literal baby in the theater.
See, okay,
for Benedetta, and was like, I'm like, for Paul Verhoeven, and then there's like lesbian nuns, and I mean there's some explicit scenes in Benedetta, and there was the father of the baby was in the theater, and he was laughing, and at one point he walked to the back of the theater and sat in a chair for like 40 minutes, leaving the baby in a stroller at the front of the theater.
Holy hell.
And I was just like, what is going on? And then like when he was sitting next to the baby, if the baby cried, he just like hit the stroller. Not when I say hit, he kind of like shake the stroller to like rock the baby. It wasn't like a abusive situation or anything. It was just baffling. Like I never would have thought you'd bring a baby to Benedetta.
See, that's similar to Old. When I saw Old, this lady brought her like,
I remember this story. And the
fucking insane, man. I really wish that wouldn't have happened, but I can't fathom bringing a kid to see old. I mean, Benedetta is a weird one.
Yeah, that was weird. But I will say, like, even with Benedetta, the baby wasn't super loud. It was like he cried like maybe once or twice, but it was super like only for like a few seconds, and like it was just more baffling than it was. It was a pretty well behaved baby, but I was just like, what are they doing?
A theater going experience that I still remember prominently was when me and you were in high school, Fulton, and we went and saw Mother.
That one had some walkouts. I want to say
it had some walkouts. But what I remember the most was when something really shocking happened. I don't necessarily remember what it was in the movie, but I think it was like Cain killing Abel or just some
was
type
it the baby when the
it was the part where the baby, I think it was the part where the baby gets killed in the crowd of people. And so then like there's just 10 seconds of dead silence, and then just a delayed response from this older woman in the theater that just goes, "Oh my God." But it was like,
dude, I saw Mother. I was at a Christian university at the time, and I took my 2 my two Bible study leaders to see it because they love Jennifer Lawrence. They love The Hunger Games. So I was like, hey, there's a new movie out. Jennifer Lawrence. They're like, no. I was like, it is R. And they're like, we usually don't like seeing R-rated movies, but we'll go with you because it's got.
I feel like that one would be up there.
And they one of them loved it. One of them loved it, and then the other one cried in the theater because she was so upset. I felt so bad. I still have not talked to her. I haven't talked to her. I talked to one of them, but the other one I have not talked to. Like,
wow.
See, Mother, not to go on a tangent, but Mother is one of those. It's an episode that me and Chris have been talking about doing for like I think since the inception of podcast 43.
You know who's got some great Mother anecdotes is Andrew Smith. He's got some.
Maybe we could.
That might be a great episode. Yeah, Mother is. I mean that is one of the wildest things. Gosh, that brought back so many memories when you said that.
No, I'm a big Mother proponent.
Yeah, I still can't really fathom why people dogged on it the way they did.
I mean, like hate for that. Yeah, I don't get hate. Like even like Titan and some of these other in Belfast, some of the other movies have been clowning on. I don't hate those movies. There's a lot successful in those films.
Yeah,
I'm glad they exist.
It ruined their, well, that's a story for another time. It ruined their relationship. Darren Aronofsky and Jennifer Lawrence. That's how bad it was. I still can't, fathom.
I will say Aronofsky's new film I think is going to be great. I think that's The Whale with Fraser. Supposed to come out by the end of the year, I hope. We got some. I mean, I don't know if you all saw the film stage. They have like they do their annual list of movies coming out this year. 2022 is shaping up to be a pretty powerful year. Hey, let me finish real quick. I'm so sorry. I'm taking.
No, that's all good.
No, you're good.
Number 2, which I know you guys have not seen this film yet, but you're about to because it comes to theaters next week, is what Chris was telling me. Where you are, it's already out by me. Parallel Mothers. Pedro Almodovar. This movie is so good. Like it obviously, like, Almodovar is like one of the greatest to ever do it. I had high expectations, but this is one of those where like I thought it was going to be like really good, right? Like I was like, this is going to be like a really good watch. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, this is one of the best films I've ever seen. Like this is really it's unexpected. At the same time, it kind of like presents what seems like kind of an obvious setup, but the melodrama is so great. And then there's this really fascinating angle involving Spanish politics. It's an incredible cast. Penelope Cruz, who is, one of Almodovar's great collaborators, just kills it. I mean, it really is, to me, like, as I keep thinking about it and I keep talking about it with several people, like it's one of the best films I've seen in some time. It was my number 1 for a little bit, but I had to change it because I saw another film again. But After Pain and Glory, which I also gave a perfect rating, and this film, which I also gave a perfect rating, I'm like, man, is Almodovar like the best working filmmaker? He's up there. Like he really is up there, and he's on a roll.
Verhoeven.
Yeah, Verhoeven's great. Yeah, and what's wild is I think Verhoeven came off his best film, which was Elle. And then, I think Almodovar is coming off his best film, which was Pain and Glory. And like watching Parallel Mothers, I'm like, this is almost as good. This might be better in some ways. Like it's really, really good. I think y'all will also love it. I don't know if you'll love it as much as I will, but I think you will really appreciate it. I mean, it's
for sure.
Fascinating film.
Is your number 1?
You know what my number 1
I know. Yeah, I know what your number 1
and speaking of changes, this was a film that I have been saying since last year, since the year started, since it was really announced, honestly, that this was going to be one of the great movies. I predicted this to be one of the best films ever. And people doubted me. People said, Cody, you're ridiculous. You're crazy. They laughed. They laughed in my face. And it turns out I was right. One of the greatest to ever do it. Maybe the greatest, at least in American history. He's up there. Well, certainly most influential filmmakers of all time. Maybe the most in at least modern contemporary times. Releases one of the best films just ever. I mean, I cannot stress enough how great West Side Story is. It is so good. We've been talking about musicals. This is in terms of just how a musical is shot, the energy that a musical has to maintain throughout its runtime. And this isn't a short film. You know, Fulton was talking about earlier how like almost everything this year seems to be over 2 hours. This is a really long movie. And they keep it up. Steven Spielberg is able to knock this out of the park, and the cast is willing to rise to the occasion. I mean, in every single way, this movie is better than the original. Wow. I am a fan of the music, which I know has been the one complaint when I talk to people. Pretty much everyone I know has seen the film and they're like, yeah, you know what, Cody, like that's a perfectly directed film. Like, you know, the direction is perfect, the performances are great, but I just can't get behind the music. I'm one to say the music is amazing.
The direction is amazing. I will I was a big fan. This just eked off my top 10 list.
I was hoping it would make it in, but I'm kind of glad I could save it. But I was like,
yeah, I know. I also didn't want to steal your thunder, because I know how much you've been, how excited you've been for it, and how you've been singing its praises ever since you saw it in IMAX. But yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that Janusz Kaminski, who is the cinematographer for like pretty much all of Spielberg's films, does a great job. I do have to say though that the music is not as good as the original 1960 Robert Wise, or 1961 Robert Wise original, but I think it also may have a lot to do with just how those films have just kind of become baked into like the cultural consciousness so much. Like there's such iconic songs that it's kind
they are iconic songs. I think they're performed better here. I think the
you think that the performances are
Rachel Ziegler, I should say, is so good as Maria. Like she is so good. I was in awe. I mean, her voice is amazing. I mean, how can you even compare her to? I mean,
Natalie Wood.
Natalie Wood.
Well, Natalie Wood didn't actually sing the music in West Side Story.
You don't. Okay, so you take the singing out of it.
Okay.
In terms of how she's acting here.
Okay.
She's acting circles around Natalie Wood. She's singing her own music. She's just, I mean, gosh, Natalie Wood is, I don't want to say she's awful in West Side Story, the original, but it's not always easy to sit through, in my opinion. And I admit I haven't seen the original West Side Story in a couple of years, but I was just blown away by 2021's version of Maria. I also think Ansel Elgort is a little underrated, not to say that I approve of any of his life decisions or anything like that, but I do think he's actually pretty good. Not to say that
I agree.
He that was a big criticism that a lot of people had, and I certainly think he carries a tune pretty well. I think he's a great dancer.
I think he's got an not trying to sound cheesy, but like an aura of coolness around him that you can just like kind of immediately buy into. I'm not saying I'm still agreeing with Cody. He's done some questionable things.
Definitely.
I'm just saying in terms of like a screen presence, it's definitely there.
Like, I was impressed with it. I really was. And I especially going in, the reviews were obviously like raves, but there was that with one critique and I was like, okay, that's a little cringe. And then watching it, I'm like, no, he's actually doing a decent
I should say suaveness would be a better way to kind of.
I thought he was really goofy. I don't know. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just thought it was when he does when he sings Maria. I don't know. Maria.
See his counterpart, I would have read as more goofy to me. I forget his name though.
You're talking about Riff, or
Riff? The actor gives it. He definitely does give it. But if I was gonna consider any of them kind of goofy, I'd kind of go more towards Riff.
I believe it's pronounced Mike Face, but they might.
Mhm.
I've heard some people say Mike Feist. I don't know,
Mhm.
but I could be. It could be something else. But he is terrific. I thought he was really good. Interesting that you kind of said that he seemed a little goofy. I read him pretty. I mean, I found him,
it's
pretty
it's
strong.
genuine, but like I always think of like the classic like 50s guy, like, come on, man, we gotta go.
Yeah,
we gotta go and do this, man.
Oh, but like Rita Moreno, like,
oh
my God.
Does she
just
play
Oh.
the girlfriend of?
no, she's
No.
Valentina.
Oh,
No, yeah, no.
Now she initially played Anita in the
Original.
first film.
my bad.
But-
And her song
oh.
is great. What's this? What does she
It's
sing?
gosh, how do I know? I've seen the film twice now, and it's they switch it up from the original. It's interesting because it's during the sex scene, so you're like,
oh
Rita's
yeah, I
performing,
forgot about that.
but it still works pretty well. Like I mean, it is still a really moving moment. Hold on, this is gonna bug me to death. Song. Somewhere. That's what she
Somewhere,
said.
yeah.
Okay.
That it's all coming back to me now. That's terrific. But yeah, she is amazing, and this version of Anita is also just incredible. Ariana DeBose, or it might be Du Bois. She's fantastic. A lot of these actors I have never heard of or I'm not super familiar with, so I do apologize for messing up.
I was pleased with the amount of fresh faces in the movie.
So many fresh faces.
Yeah,
I mean,
for real,
it really
yeah.
was terrific. And obviously there were a lot of big casting calls, and
Mhm.
we like to clown on a lot of musical theater nerds, but when it comes down to it, there's really talented musical theater people.
I mean, listen,
Mhm.
Andrew Garfield, one of my favorite performances of the year.
Yeah,
Tick,
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 Boom.
Boom.
That
Fucking
was
great
the
in
other
that
musical I
movie.
was going to add. Yeah,
Yeah.
That was another honorable mention that
that's a great little.
Mhm.
I was impressed with that film.
Cody
he
was
did
skeptical.
good.
I had to talk you. I was like, Cody, just stick with it.
I'll admit, like when I was watching like the first like 20-30 minutes, I was like, Chris, I don't know if I can do this, but
For that performance alone, I think it's worth
he is
it.
he's so good, and
Yeah.
it is a very good film. It's a little rough around the edges, but like all
Oh yeah, for
all
sure.
feature film debuts are going to have some problems.
Yeah.
Unless you're blue collar, but or Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's terrific stuff. But I gotta say, Steven Spielberg. I mean, just I can't go on enough about just how terrific this film is. The colors so beautiful, the performance is also good. You obviously love the music. It's just terrific, and like what a comeback. I know there are some defenders of Ready Player One, but I found that pretty disappointing.
Mhm. Me as well.
I was a little worried, and for a while I was kind of the Steven Spielberg hater. I didn't really find his output as impressive as some of my peers, but especially this year, I've really come around to him, and I think he has genuinely just one of the greatest gifts of any filmmaker, and I cannot wait for his film this year, which is another
About his childhood.
Yeah.
Just a quick thing. Minority Report, another favorite first watches of my year.
Oh, isn't that one? That's terrific.
That's a fun ride, man. You really can't. It's very unpredictable. It's very fun.
I want Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg to make another film, because
That'd be
War of the
great.
Worlds is still my favorite Steven Spielberg, and that is just, and like Minority Report, both films just so good. They got to get back together. And I also like, another great Steven Spielberg film that I revisited this year was Munich, which was also written by Tony Kushner, who adapted this version of West Side Story. And it's amazing, great screenplay, but also just no one's shooting better than Steven Spielberg right now. I think he's terrific. And he also has the largest gun collection in the world. So he's also probably
Wait,
shooting
really?
film
Probably
and
shooting the
guns,
most.
Did not know that.
more than
Wow.
anyone else. Just terrific film. So yeah, that's my big thing. I think we already shouted out Cry Macho, but that was a film that I know the three of us got to see together, and probably my favorite theater experience this year was.
I mean, yeah, it's just even though the movie it didn't make the top 10. It's just so lovely to see Clint.
Yeah,
you know?
I thought about putting it in my top 10, but it almost like, because there are flaws in the film, but you find them so easy to forgive, and you find that film just so warm, and it's maybe more so, and this is going to be a big statement, more so than any other film this year. I think that's a testament to just how much a filmmaker loves making movies. Like you watch it and you see just all the obstacles that Clint Eastwood's had to go through, and just the years on him, and what the performance he gives, the shots he gets, the pace he's able to move that movie at. It's astonishing. It's an incredible achievement, and gosh, like that Steven Spielberg, yeah, that was an amazing, terrific all timer. But I do think in years to come, people are going to look back at Cry Macho really fondly. It's one of those films that I think about daily.
So, what about you, Fulton?
Well, I gotta bookend it. I'll start from the back end and work my way forward as well. At number 10, I have Pig.
Nice.
Yeah, along with Stillwater, this one was I would say like the kind of critical reception gave it kind of a misleading tone, because I remember when this movie came out, everyone was like, it's like John Wick, but with a pig. But that could be the furthest thing from what the film actually is. And when you kind of sit down with the film, and like a lot of films, I'm going to kind of bring this up, but it has such an insane amount of heart and humanity in it. And Nick Cage really it's a great performance from him as well.
He's so good in it, isn't he?
Yeah. And there's a lot of little quiet moments that are very kind and kind of tender. I don't think I have too much more to say about that, other than like I do highly recommend it. And that was like an early watch for me, and that it's just like stuck with me throughout the whole year. At number 9, I have Matrix Resurrections.
Let's go.
I know we've kind of already gotten through that one. At number 8, I have Come On, Come On.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, me and so what made you like I mean I mean like not that I disliked it, but I just found it to be like not as strong as other Mike Mills films that I've seen, like 20th Century Woman, or even that short film that he did for the National, I Am Easy to Find.
That's a good one. See, my favorite Mike Mills is Still Beginners. I think that is just that's a
very good one.
That's one of my favorite films that I saw like of last decade. But I couldn't quite connect to Come On, Come On. But my issue stemmed from, I think, the same problem that I had with films like Licorice Pizza and to an extent Belfast and some of these other coming of age, and Titan to an extent too. Like I just didn't really like the kid, who's a pretty pivotal part of the film. And I found some of the decisions that some of the characters make concerning the kid just baffling. Like, I couldn't overcome that. I've dealt a lot with kids. I started out as a swim instructor and been around like little kids all my life, and I was just like, dang, like this is so just different than how I would have approached it. The one thing though that I do want to say, and I think you might, I think we all might agree on this, is I do appreciate just how serious that film does take kids, and that kids are able to have thoughts and feelings that are the same as adults, and they're just as valid, and they're explored very beautifully, especially in the radio interviews. I found especially moving, and I think the film is at its best when it's talking with the central kid about his feelings and his experiences. But it's just when the kid acts like a brat where I'm like,
I mean, he's a kid though. I'm a defender of the kid. I think he.
Me too.
I think he did a really good. I think the child in that film had a really nice performance. What's his name? Woody Norman. My main issue is
he's British. Did you know that he did an accent?
Really? That's
wow.
Woody
Norman's British. That was when I was like, when I heard that, I was like, okay, he's good. He's really good. He's really a good kid. I mean, he's annoying, but
my issue is that I felt like the film was kind of a little overly long. I don't know why it needed to just keep going to all these different parts of the U.S. I just felt like it kind of overstayed its welcome. But
so for me, I feel like I'm very, very bad at making lists because I always grapple with, am I rating it off of, how I feel about it personally, or am I kind of looking at it more, is it objectively, right? When you're just kind of looking at what it is and kind of, rating it based off of like the filmmaking and the writing and everything. So with this list, I try to do it more based on the emotions that I was left with when finished with the film. And I thought that was the best way for me to kind of go about it, or else I would never be able to get a concrete list down. And so like with this film, like I legitimately, it did tear me up, like the very ending, and kind of having to see them kind of part ways. And it's very bittersweet because, that they're still going to be in each other's lives, but I don't think they'll ever like get that kind of sense of like harmony that they found within each other during this point in time. And so like, I don't know, I find it to be a very, very it's also dealing with people in very like complex situations that there's really not an easy answer. And so you're kind of having to see them grapple with that, like dealing with the mom that has Alzheimer's, and then the wife has to deal with her husband's decline in mental stability and everything. And I don't know, I found it to be very, very intriguing in that manner. And like, it's a film that I agree, I do kind of find it to be flawed. Like, I don't really understand why it's in black and white, and normally I'm a huge defender of that, but the reason I kind of have an issue with that is because it's digital kind of black and white, and there's a lot of scenes that I'm like, this just doesn't translate well. But then there are certain shots of kind of, shots around the cities that they're surrounded by. I think those shots really work, but everything else never really quite clicked for me in that manner. But, looking past that, I think it's saying something very, very, I don't know, just something really interesting about the reflection on humanity that this film kind of explores. I really like, and that's kind of why I've attached to it in that manner.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah.
If you like Ira Glass, you listen to a lot of NPR.
There's a lot there.
I think Fulton, after you see Belfast, you're gonna agree that Mike Mills does it a lot better than Kenneth Branagh. Although I do think Kenneth's gonna knock it out of the park with Death on the Nile coming up next month. But
I'm interested to see how that one's gonna go.
Yeah.
That one's interesting. But I think I agree with you about the black and white photography, but at the same time, like, I could never label that criticism after the catastrophe of the Belfast. And the thing is, I liked Belfast. Like, I felt like it won me over, but it's just like Fulton, you gotta see it. You gotta come to my side and be like, man, why are they shooting like this?
I mean, from what I saw from the trailer, I thought it looked good, but I didn't see any of the shots that, because the trailers, it's quick and it's trying to get you invested into it. So, but then I guess I do plan on seeing Belfast, but I have said this to like a ton of people that there's always that one film that comes out during the year and I'm just not interested.
Yeah,
and Belfast is definitely that one, but I'm really trying to fight myself because I'm like, I don't need to be like that. and it's one film, so I know I can get into it.
For me, last year was definitely Nomadland. I had to really force myself.
I still haven't gotten around to that one.
Folksy, you haven't seen Nomadland?
You haven't seen Nomadland?
I really want to.
The best picture winner.
It's
well, guys, come on,
pretty.
come on. Eternals is better.
Oh,
you know.
Oh, that's a whole other pot. That's
no, I have not seen Eternals. Don't really plan on it. But Nomadland, I really wanted to see, and I just never got around to it.
Did you see The Father? Did you see The Father?
From last year. That was really good.
That was a really good one. That was like the movie that people were joking about, like, this movie doesn't exist, like it was made up, because like it just
they're making and then they're making the Son now, or he's doing
the Son
too.
Which is
and
ridiculous.
The Holy Spirit.
It's gonna be good.
But then I guess after Come On, I have Malignant, of course.
Let's fucking
go. Let's go.
And so that's why I was rocking my fucking hand hard when you said that, Chris, because I mean we do have a lot of similarities. but yeah, and then so the next one I have, I kind of grappled with a lot, but I do kind of want to put it in there because I don't think that it's fair that it didn't necessarily get the love that, well, I feel weird saying love, but it is a film that is kind of a tough sit through, but it's Ridley Scott's The Last Duel. It kills me because this is the movie that came out, nobody fucking saw it. Then House of Gucci comes out, which is like not nearly as powerful as Last Duel, and everyone sees that.
Everyone just sees
fucking come on. Now it's not easy to watch if you know kind of what it's about. It's about it's about a rape allegation in like the Middle Ages, and it's dealing a lot with like masculinity and ego and kind of the multiple different sides of a story. And so it's told in it's told in a 3-part structure. And so
it's a Rashomon riff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and again, Matt Damon kills it in this role, being like a complete asshole idiot.
He is amazing.
I mean,
all the performances in this. I mean, this was The Last Duel was 12 for me. I had Red Rocket, and then the last. To me,
was 11 for me. Yeah,
it is. I mean, it really is just outstanding. Like I could not agree more with that. I mean, I wish I put it in my top 10 now. It's so good.
It just kills me. I had to put it in there because I do believe in it, and I think it's not fair that
I don't know,
no one's going to talk about it.
Not enough people saw it, but like
Ben Affleck's great too.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh yeah,
he's so good.
Jodie Comer.
She's fantastic as well.
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah,
definitely crossed over this year because she's on that TV show Killing Eve that I know a lot of people really like. With
she's
Sandra
very good in Killing Eve. Yeah,
and so she was in this and Free Guy this year. And I know that I don't.
She
really
got one in the
words. I don't mince words with my hatred of Free Guy, but I'm happy that she redeemed herself by being in something so as good as The Last Duel as well.
Yeah,
she kills it as well.
It is amazing that there are people who could be in such awful films as Free Guy and such great films as. I mean, we haven't really talked too much about Ridley Scott, but this was a really strong year for him, even though House of Gucci was a little bit of a disappointment. But like The Last Duel, really, I mean, I remember when the trailers dropped, I was like, I don't know. I mean, like this is a premise. It's about, it's about something like Ben Affleck and Nicole Holofcener and Matt Damon writing the screenplay, and you're still just like, I don't know why this movie's getting made. It doesn't seem like this is going to be. It's the type of movie that wouldn't get made. Shouldn't be getting made now. It's kind of alongside those musicals that we were talking about and the westerns, where it's like this massive, huge epic of a movie, costing hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's just terrific. I mean, it really is. The battle sequences, the titular duel,
the actual last.
It lives
duel.
up.
Yeah,
it's so good. I saw it in theaters, and it's the greatest spectacle I think I saw all year. I mean, it really, really delivered. Yeah, that's a great pick.
Mhm. And then 5, I have Red Rocket.
Nice.
And I don't think I have necessarily anything new to kind of add to that one. And then I've also grappled with this one, but I wanted to put it in there because it kind of does mean a lot, to me, and it was an experience that I'm very glad that I got to have. Because my father didn't necessarily get me into The Sopranos, but he was definitely one of the people that we've always bonded with over The Sopranos. So at number 4, I have The Many Saints of Newark.
Wow.
That's a good pick, I think.
And I say this, the reason this film hits so hard for me is because I love James Gandolfini, and I just think his father would be so fucking proud of his son. And I think he
so
kills it in this role. And
Mhm.
like, I even really like the rest of the movie, but I just think like, is it Michael Gandolfini? I want to say it was, Michael Gandolfini. I just like, this is another movie that also kind of brought me to, I know I didn't cry all the way, but it did make me tear up because I thought it was just such a good performance from him, and I just couldn't stop thinking about how proud his dad would be of him.
Yeah.
And so that like it and I don't know, it's a great supplemental thing to The Sopranos, and I didn't want it to end. I was really invested in it.
Yeah.
And I got to take my dad and my parents to see it at the theater, which is also another great, experience because they love it, so.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, this is an underrated film.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people didn't see, or they didn't really care for. I think a lot of people thought this was going to be like the Tony Soprano film, and it's not really about Tony Soprano.
He's kind of in a weird gray area between being like a secondary. He's not,
because it's Uncle.
You would think
story, yeah. And that actor, Alessandro Nivola, is. I mean, he's fantastic as the lead, and it's just
Ray Liotta does well.
Ray Liotta, and we all talked about No Sudden Move earlier. I mean, there were. I really dug the movie. I know a lot of people were kind of mixed on it, but yeah, I totally support it. It made my top 20.
Nice, yeah.
Wow.
Just good stuff.
I know, Chris, you weren't as favorable towards it.
No, I didn't see it.
I didn't know Chris saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I haven't watched all of The Sopranos, so I didn't really.
You're Italian.
I know. I will. I want to get around to that before I watch Twin Peaks. So.
There's really only one major spoiler that you kind of have, and you probably might even know. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's
so good though.
It's an interesting device used in the film too, as well. It comes really out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, are you talking about the open, like the narration, or the?
Yeah. I just didn't want to
Yeah, and it's it's so clever how that's done.
Yeah,
I mean, the way they do callbacks, and it's the same thing that they did in The Matrix Resurrections, to a lesser extent, like something like Cry Macho, but like the way that they kind of like work in the show and have these callbacks it's subtle, and it's not as on the nose as you would expect, and it's like really just brilliant. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that the ending, Fulton, is so good. Like the final of
oh my god,
yeah, we're gonna spoil this for Chris.
Yeah, I don't want to. But please,
man, I might watch this again. Like it's so good. It's so good. I will say I was confused with why they put that out in theaters, because obviously it didn't do very well.
Yeah, but it did well streaming wise.
It did really well streaming.
Oh, that I'm not.
I believe it was their most streamed. Besides the Snyder Cut, I think, of the year. And I kind of was like expecting it to just go straight to streaming, but it was awesome to see that in a theater. It does feel like a movie. Like, for anyone who's like, it's just TV, like it does have a lot of cinematic quality.
Yeah. And then third, I have Licorice Pizza, which I would think we've pretty much covered that base.
Yeah.
2, we have Power of the Dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris, you gotta see it.
I know. I'll watch.
Gotta see the Power of the Dog.
If this movie plays in theaters, I will take you to it.
I had the option. I had the opportunity to
I wish I would.
I was at Landmark Midtown Art Cinema in Atlanta with some friends, and it was either Power of the Dog or Spencer. And we picked Spencer. And I kind of wish I picked Power of the Dog because that's more of an exclusive experience than seeing something like Spencer that was quite widely released. But
like Power of the Dog's on Netflix. It's on Netflix right now.
No,
it's been on Netflix for over a month.
I know.
But Cody, wouldn't you agree that having like
it would be better
in a theater. To see it in theater. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like I had the
okay, so you can't see it in a theater, but you could see it on a pretty big TV.
Yeah, no, I got a big TV. You know, not to flex. Yeah,
and
I got a big TV.
Like I think Bolton and I could have. The people that we know in our Scrawls on Cinema Circle, a ton of them have not seen this movie. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's sexism. I don't know if it's like people think Benedict Cumberbatch just can't be good. And I'll admit I was a little skeptical, but
same here. But he immediately sets up his character in such a, well, I don't want to say he does, but him and Jane, it's kind of like that immediate, I hate saying it again, but the screen presence and his body language is so perfect, and it immediately zones you into the kind of guy that you know that he is gonna be, and so like, because this film and my number one pick kind of did the same thing where you kind of start to feel at least to me, the psychological effect kind of start in my chest, and I can feel like my chest tight because it's just kind of that there's an anxiousness to it, and same with my number one pick. But there's just like an anxiousness and an unrest, but there is a calmness and a sereneness to it as well, as you see, like, because the backdrops in this film are, when I say backdrops, I just mean like the literal, what they get inside the frame, because it's like a Midwestern kind of hilly region that they're in, with gigantic fields that reach up to the mountaintop, and it's great. I just wish I could, because the second, like around like the midway point of the film, I was like, fuck, if I could have seen this in a theater, it would have killed.
It would have killed.
My only negative of the film is that and this is a main thing for me, I'm not a big fan of the kind of breaking it up into like structures. I'm like
the chapter structure.
Yeah, like the chat. Yeah. Like I'm okay. I don't know. It's just something that's never really worked for me. And I don't necessarily think it's needed here. But it's not a thing where I'm like, oh fuck this, it ruins the whole thing. It's just a slight kind of thing to me.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because quite a number of films did that this year. Like between Justice League and Zola and
oh, I forgot about Zola.
Dog, which Zola was great. Chris and I got to see that in theaters.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Power of the Dog might be my favorite screenplay of the year. I know it's an adapted screenplay, but I just think it plays out so well. And I do wonder if that's part of the reason why she tried to leave in those chapters, is to maybe like
kind of give it some break,
the literary, and like to kind of honor some of the book. The one thing
okay.
And the one thing that I do think would have helped something like West Side Story is like an intermission, and
for sure,
which the original does have,
has, and they really could have. That's the one thing I think they should have done with West Side Story.
House of Gucci should have had one.
Oh, I know. I could have walked out. Like,
well, the funny thing is like I really had to pee. And I peed, and I missed the best fucking part of the movie, where, and I'm gonna spoil it because it's at the end of the year. Everyone's seen it, where Jared Leto pisses in front of the boss, and I was like, God damn it! Why did I have to miss that? Yeah. In my imagination, it's the best part.
Yeah,
no, it's unfortunate.
That's so sad. Yeah, no, we need to bring back intermissions. Another film that has chapters that I just remembered that I think you guys actually might really like is Wrath of Man. There's a great chapter structure.
Okay,
Wrath of Man that plays a little bit more. It's really fun.
Yeah. So for my final one, Cody, I know you're not gonna like this.
Oh no.
But I do have Spencer as my number one pick of the year. And I will if I can kind of give my selling point on it to
All right,
you
all right.
as to why. I have not felt this sick in a theater in such a long time. I wanted to vomit and I wanted to crawl out of my skin because it just made me so anxious. And I found it to be so effective. And I will give it this. I haven't seen Jackie. I'm super interested to see Jackie. But I just found the film to be completely engrossing and effective in a weird way. And I think it's really beautiful. And I know, like, for her to be a public figure, and I knew nothing about Princess Diana. I only knew her by her death. And so I think it's very interesting because with a film like this focused on Princess Diana, you would naturally think that that would be the ending point of the film. It would focus on her death. But I think it is kind of beautiful that the film it ends just with a shot of her being like a good mother and taking out her kids and just having a good time. And it's not, it feels
Yeah.
kind of like a course correction and being like, listen, stop remembering her for this tragic event that she had no control over, but remember her as being more of a humanistic kind of public figure that she was, which is, what I've heard.
Yeah.
And I wasn't
She-
alive during the time. I don't know much about her,
Right.
but it definitely did feel like, because and I'll bring up this other film because I don't think anyone is really talking about it, but I find it to be a very interesting kind of flip side to The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which with The Eyes of Tammy Faye, I felt like they wanted to convey Tammy Faye. They kind of wanted to sell you on who she was as a person, but also make fun of her at the same time. So, they both kind of canceled out each other. But this film just wants to present kind of like the pressure that she was living under and that constant like scrutiny and being in the eye of the public, and then also being a part of the royal family where there's never pleasing anyone or anything.
Right.
Um, and I think there's something really interesting going on there where she's right next to her childhood home and it's abandoned and it's torn to shit. And the royal family doesn't care at all about her past or her childhood. And they're just letting it decay and they won't even let her go to it, so I don't know. There's just a lot there for me that I kind of grasp onto. And it really like, I have not had a feeling like that that was so compelling. Maybe Malignant. I got as strong as a feeling out of,
that
like,
police station.
oh fuck, it's
I
great.
know. I
But
do
yeah.
agree with you about the ending of Spencer. I think that's my
Mhm.
favorite part of the film is when she does break free and there is that moment of with the kids and everything. I think that is really good.
Or that
Mhm.
scene. That scene when they celebrate Christmas,
They
and
do
it's just the
Quaaludes.
three of them. When they all do Quaaludes.
When they do Quaaludes, that was my favorite part. I actually did the Quaalude with the royal family.
But you were saying, sorry.
Oh, just when they celebrate Christmas, and it's like just the three of them, and it's super late at night,
Mhm.
and they're like, trying to just not make any noise at all. I just thought that was like a really sweet scene as well.
To me, I mean, I in some ways I found that sweet, but in other ways I was like, this might have been another. I also like revisited. This is kind of hyperbolic, but I revisited something like Schindler's List recently, and it's like, there are a lot of people who've had to have hidden holidays for much harder situations, and like
No,
yeah.
and
Cody.
like and I don't she like what she's going through in the movie, specifically with the royal family, I never read as that difficult or that challenging. Especially when I was like, why doesn't she just if she wants to take the kids, the movie opens really well with her as this sort of independent figure, but then like when she's just so deliberately standing up against the royal family, which she did marry into, I'm like, but this is, I mean, I think the royal family should be abolished. I think it's horrible that we still have kings and queens, that we think people are better than anyone else is.
Of course.
But also
I wholeheartedly agree.
But then but I was just like, I mean, I don't know. I think I just couldn't quite buy into some of her situation. But I can agree with you though, that I do think the ending is just really blissful and great. And it is so nice to see her break free of that. And you're right, Chris, that scene with the second or the hidden Christmas is very moving. I cannot believe I compared it to like a Holocaust film.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just, I don't want to say that what she went through was like, harder than, than many of the hardships that people have had to experience historically. But just from a style perspective, I just think that this movie just really does a good job.
Fantastic.
With like
it's
just a really good job like showing just the mental decay of somebody that is just trying to break out of a mold that they're kind of trapped in. And even if they are a royal, it's like I can at least still appreciate that humanistic aspect to the film that I think is something that a lot of people can,
just to kind of like add on to that, the score. I definitely think it should win for best score of the year. I mean, it just
very good.
It plays so well as being almost kind of like subconscious to the film. It's perfect. It's amazing. I definitely highly I thought the score was amazing.
Johnny Greenwood did a really good job for sure.
Yeah, I the one other thing I wanted to add quick, there's that one scene with Timothy Spall at the steps with Princess Diana where he kind of goes back and talks about his military service and what the royal family means to him. And I thought that was terrific. I thought that was a great scene. So I don't hate Spencer entirely. There is a lot to admire there. I respect your decision to put it at one.
I think we've all had very respectful, lists.
I do think that we have probably gone longer than any other time we've
maybe
gone together. When did we start?
Probably I think we started at 9:30.
Yeah, this is gonna be a long episode.
Yeah,
but I think we covered a really.
I think we've been
for it to be in the time frame.
Yeah,
there's a lot of movies. This is one of the best years that I think I've ever seen for movies.
Any dishonorable mentions? I want to. I mean, I know we've kept it pretty positive, but I just got the three. That I just want to plug as don't watch. Don't look up.
Don't look up. I can't. Yes.
Free Guy, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Those three. Worst.
I was gonna do a bit where instead of saying Spencer, I was going to say Spider-Man No Way Home. I forgot about it at the last minute. I got so ready to talk about Spencer.
That would have been funny. My bit was I was going to say my number one film of the year is Donda.
Oh, that would have been good.
Well, honestly, dude, shout out the Larry Hoover benefit concert. I thought that was terrific.
That was great. Yeah,
I've seen that make a few lists. That's good. But in terms of dishonorable mentions, you already said Free Guy. Don't look up. Dear Evan Hansen was terrible, and another film that I thought was awful was Being the Ricardos.
I've heard only bad things.
Very bad, very bad.
I was tempted to watch that one while wrapping presents, but then I put on Witness instead, and I was very happy with that.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Oh, also Willy's Wonderland. I don't know who saw that.
Oh, another Nick. You know what was your favorite bad movie? I have a favorite bad movie where I think Halloween Kills is a bad movie, but that is the most interesting bad movie.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think if I was to rewatch it, I would have a blast with it.
I kind of think so too. Yeah.
It is kind of disappointing as a follow-up to 2018 Halloween, because I loved 2018 Halloween.
Right. Yes.
But man, that is a crazy film right there.
It is. And the more I think about it, Fulton, the more I'm like, maybe it does kind of work. Like maybe this is the one.
I'd have to watch it again. I'm not, because my thing with that is like, I can appreciate a lot what David Gordon Green is going for. It's just like, I felt like in terms of the construction of like, what I was really excited about with the, like the group fights with Michael Myers. And I felt like stylistically, I think there could have been a better approach to those group fights.
Yeah.
Because they do it in kind of a weird way where, because he's this unstoppable force, and we all get that. But like one person attacks him at a time.
Unstoppable. Like it's crazy.
I'm really interested to see how they're gonna like tie that bow up.
Yeah, I'm fascinated too. So that's one of my more anticipated movies of this next year, is to see how David Gordon Green ends that.
And then we have Exorcist. I know that's gonna be coming out soon.
That'll be interesting.
Well. I honestly didn't have like a favorite bad movie. I mean, I guess the closest I had was House of Gucci, but we kind of briefly touched upon it. But even
I'm not even as, I don't love that movie, but I don't think I'm as negative as it.
Did you all see Venom 2? Did anyone see Venom 2?
Oh, Venom 2 is a blast. That's a fun
great.
time.
Yeah, that was my favorite superhero movie of the year.
Sadly missed it. I'm surprised No Time to Die didn't make any of y'all's lists.
That was a good time. I'm shocked some of the, another one like The French Dispatch, which I think is one of Wes Anderson's better movies. Super funny. Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, I thought was another great comedy that came out this year. I was like wondering if any of y'all had gotten around to.
Fulton saw it.
Yeah. I have seen it.
Gotcha.
I wasn't as crazy about it as you were.
You gotta at least admire though just how
they go for it. See, my thing was like, I am surprised it got made, because it really like, and I don't think it's a super fair comparison, but it's on the level of goofiness that you get from like the Austin Powers franchise, where it's just that really kind of zany amount. Yeah,
you're just like, what?
Yeah, what? But it didn't quite work for me. But I can see why.
You know one film that I was shocked that none of you had on your list, Dune, which is one of the bigger films of the year.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
Which I also thought was really good. Like
I would have killed to see that one in theaters too.
I saw that.
It just came at a bad time.
I saw that. Oh,
lucky.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
And I reserve the right to say that the movie's better after I see part 2. I just, the way it ends, I cannot get like, because some people are like, like I've seen it in many like top 5s and stuff, and I'm just like,
it's good,
it's
but
very good. But the ending, the way it leaves you hanging,
it's very dependent on part 2.
It's so unsatisfactory, and it's not like the Lord of the Rings where they end, and you're like, that is a place to. It's an end point. You can look at those films as an end. I don't usually, but you can look at them as individual films. Dune makes that pretty much impossible, at least in my mind. So I
completely
like
agree.
If Dune Part 2 is awful, then I don't see how I can
like
say
Part 1.
Dune Part 1 is as good as it is.
or like something like It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2. It's
oh yeah, and with Peter Bogdanovich. That's so.
Oh God! All right, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Man,
what a tough week! Like,
R.I.P. to Peter Bogdanovich, Sidney Poitier, and of course, we'll bring up that one when we talk about what next week we're gonna.
And Betty White too. I don't know.
Betty White as well. Yeah, because, geez.
I guess I'll shout out The Kingsman as a blockbuster that I don't really
saw that log. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Is it
Kingsman?
I don't want to. We don't have to spoil it.
You're talking about the post-credit scene.
Is that as crazy as I've read? Like I've read it. It is insane.
It's the fact that it happens. Because okay, I'll kind of talk about it a little bit. But like, I thought it was a jab at Marvel, because I can't imagine you doing something along the lines of what the Kingsmen did for their post-credit scene, and it not being kind of like a bit.
Right. Yeah.
I'll if you don't, just skip 15 seconds
This is
ahead.
spoilers for the Kingsman.
The Kingsman. But like,
I don't. Yeah.
basically, like through Kingsman, you see the rise of Stalin, and then the post-credit scene is the rise of Hitler. And so there's a scene where Stalin is talking to like he's like the villain mastermind, and the villain mastermind is talking to Stalin. He's like, well, I have someone that I think you'd really like to meet. And then you see like a figure come out of the shadows, and it turns out to be Adolf Hitler. And Stalin was like, who is this? And the guy goes, and then the actor portraying Adolf Hitler is like, my name is Adolf Hitler. And it's like, I laughed out loud in the theater when I saw that, because I was like, this shit is insane. It's because I thought it was a bit at first, but then the more I thought about it, what precedes the post-credit scene is an in memory of, for someone who had passed away or for someone that they felt important. And then so when you kind of have it followed up by an in memory of,
my name is Hitler,
the intention is so kind of murky. It has to make it serious, because you're not going to put a joke and then do in memory of if you don't really like. Because I really like Matthew Vaughn. I mean, he's one of my favorite action directors, currently working. And so I just kind of thought it was a bit, but when you get to the point where you're treating this terrible human being as a character, not as the person that they are, there's kind of an issue there.
Man, it's kind of like Jojo Rabbit when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a big issue with Jojo Rabbit too. And like, but the post-credit scene is insane. I don't really think that movie needs a sequel, but if they made one, I would definitely, I'll see it, because I do like Matthew Vaughn, and like the promise of how insane that would be is kind of interesting.
That does sound insane.
Yeah, but I have to give my favorite action scene of the year probably to Kingsman. They do a no man's land
over
thing.
Malignant. The amazing. It's better.
Malignant.
That's true.
Malignant's the raid.
Okay, later in 2021 goes to Kingsman. Early in 2021 goes to Malignant.
Because
I just want to, because no one's seeing it.
That's true.
But they've already got another Kingsman greenlit, so I don't really know why I'm but like, it's not a great movie, but it has its flaws. But I think it is a fun time if you're willing to kind of excuse the themes, because it doesn't have the best moral message. But if you just want an action movie, put it on, and put on the other Kingsman movies as well, because they're fun. So, but I don't think I really have. No Time to Die was good, but it just never really kind of like it. I don't know. It didn't click in there with the top 10 for me. But
I guess that's really all we have, right?
I mean, there's too many other movies to talk about. There's so many. I mean, like, I didn't even mention Ferrar's movies that came out this year, or like, the new Val Kilmer documentary. You can just go on. We could do this all night. Like,
I know.
This is true.
We're already pushing it, but it just an incredible year. Thank you all so much for having me on.
Of course, Cody.
Of course.
This is always a highlight to start the year. Great. I think 2022 is going to be an even better year. I'm rooting for Spielberg again. I think I'm hoping to have 2 years in a row back to back Spielberg #1. So we'll see.
I mean, we got a lot of great stuff coming up. Me and Fulton are eagerly anticipating Morbius.
Oh, that's right. This got pushed back.
Which they just pushed back to April. Yes, is very sad.
God damn it. They know what the people want.
It's not a real movie. That's what I keep seeing. They're like, it doesn't. They made a trailer.
It's not finished.
They have to put the movie out.
And there's the new Claire Denis with Juliette Binoche. Fire.
I've read there actually might be 2 Denny films, depending on because I think there's another one that's in production that might.
Oh wow!
At least that might be going into production this year or something. Was I was reading on the film stage. Obviously, the new Scorsese is
The Flower Moon.
super hyped with
Yeah.
De Niro and DiCaprio. And
I need a new
Fleming.
DiCaprio. Not yeah.
Also, Avatar 2, guys.
That's
Avatar.
gonna be
I'm
crazy.
super excited.
I'm so
Maybe
excited.
that'll if that's the movie of the year, I'm gonna laugh so hard.
If anything from this year that I've learned is I'm a huge James Cameron guy. I love him.
He's
I love him.
great. He's awesome.
Yeah, I've been waiting so long for this damn movie. And then the Michael Bay's Ambulance, which we've talked
That's
about.
what that was the one.
Yeah,
That's my favorite trailer going around right now.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be great. And then Fulton and I'm sure are really excited for the Kanye documentary next week.
I mean,
yes.
I
I'm gonna
am
try
too.
to
That
catch it in theaters.
And
that
Chris Ford.
3-part.
Yeah. And then we
But-
do have Halloween Ends as well.
Halloween
which kind of
Ends.
briefly talk about.
Yeah, you got the new Terrence Malick might be coming out too. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to in 2022.
New Guy Ritchie again.
Yeah, that trailer
is
is
true.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's-
the new George Miller might be out too.
Furiosa.
Or not Furiosa. He's got another film in post that I think he shot on
Really?
an iPhone. Yeah, that's a like serious thriller.
God.
If it's anything like, I don't know. I loved it. Unsane, which was Soderbergh's kind of iPhone
that's
thriller,
great. Yeah,
which
Soderbergh's
is
got-
fun.
Yeah, and he's got that film coming up next year too. Or not next year, next month. On HBO Max that just released the trailer. There's so much. There's so much
Yeah.
good stuff.
Anna de Armas, Marilyn Monroe movie.
Andrew Dorman. Yeah, that's
yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
so good. And then the Ben Affleck on this film going to Hulu by Adrian Lyne. That's gonna be
It's gonna be an interesting one.
wild.
I'm excited to.
That's gonna be one to watch by yourself. Don't show the parents.
I just want to. I hope there's more Andrew Garfield as well. I've been seeing a lot of his movies, and he fucking kills it in every role.
He's great.
He's like I think, to me, one of my favorite actors that I've been watching recently. Like he really, really kills it.
Have you seen Silence?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that's
good in
my
Silence. I
favorite.
liked him in Silence. But I just watched Mainstream the other night. He gives it in that one too, which is awesome.
Another one that I think is really good is 99 Homes. If you haven't seen that,
Oh,
Murray
Cody, my man.
Yeah.
Thank
he
you.
had a great
No
film.
one talks about
The
that
White
movie. It's
Tiger was
great.
also awesome from 2021.
I need
which is
to
one of
see that.
Chris Borg's favorite movies.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought. I've literally never talked to anybody else. that's
Oh no,
seen
I
it.
love Bahrain.
Yeah.
I think he's one of like the great American filmmakers.
Yeah.
I try to see all his movies.
I wrote a paper on 99 Homes.
Wait,
I forget
Cody,
what
did
I
you-
compared it to, but
Did you like his Fahrenheit 451?
No, that was
That's-
horrible.
That's
unwatchable.
I was super.
I was so
about
excited. I couldn't
that.
even make it through. I don't. Actually, maybe I did. I can't remember if I logged it or not. Some of those movies I haven't. Sometimes I forget to log movies too. It's terrible. But yeah, no, that movie's awful. Like it's
Yeah.
unwatchable.
I mean, the Truffaut one isn't great, but it's,
you're not gonna make a good movie out of that.
Yeah.
It's like, speaking of movies that are gonna be bad, White Noise is coming out. Noah Baumbach, who's talented. I don't think he's. No way that's gonna read well on
but-
film. But
I'm interested. I'm very interested.
But the Black Phone though, the Black
let's go.
The Black Phone
that's
was
already
so
screened too.
sick.
That's gonna. They say it's amazing. So
Oh.
I can't wait. Ethan
Well-
Hawke's amazing.
Well, yet again, we could go on for
Yeah.
Yeah, this
We're
is
talking about
true.
we're talking about
hour.
2022. Yeah, this is like we're not even talking about
We're already jumping ahead
2021
a year.
anymore.
But we have
there's
plenty.
Still
plenty to cover this year. And Fulton, do you want to talk about what next week's film is going to be and the reason behind the film that we selected?
Mhm. Yeah, so we are picking Dirty Work, correct?
Yes, Dirty Work, directed by
Okay.
Bob Saget.
And,
It's the late
yeah,
the
and
great.
so yeah, we would just like to say rest in peace, and we hope his family is doing okay. And yeah, so this is really just kind of an in celebration of because I'm sure all of us did, but Full House was always on in my house when I was a kid. So I don't have the deepest connection to him, but
I don't like Full House at all, but I really
Mhm.
like Bob Saget as a comedian.
Yeah, I was just saying that those are my earliest memories of,
Okay.
of
Oh,
Bob
okay.
Saget
Yeah, I
is seeing
remember
him in Full House. But I just really want to. I'm very interested to see kind of beyond what he had to offer from Full House.
Yeah.
And of
So,
course, also Norm Macdonald,
Mhm.
wrote and starred in Dirty Work, and
rest in peace as well.
very much
Genius.
a genius indeed.
Mhm.
But yeah, thank you for coming on again, Cody.
Yeah,
and
thank you, bud.
you'll
Yeah,
definitely
thanks
be
for having
back.
me.
You'll definitely be back next year in 2022, but definitely, and probably even earlier.
Intermittently, yeah, as well.
At this rate, we're gonna have to do like a 6-month show if movies can get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is very true.
Well, all right, and everybody have a good rest of their week and stay wavy.
Stay safe.
All right.
Meet Mitch Weaver.
Hey, that's my shirt.
In the game of life, he's losing his shirt.
You're not fit to wear this shirt.
Mitch can't hold a job.
You're fired. You get a horse and live in the mountains someplace and don't bother anybody. Got a personality like a dead moth.
Mitch is no good at relationships.
I'm through wasting my life with you.
Note to self, making love to blow-up dolls, not as good as advertised.
Mitch lacks people skills.
Hey, that was really funny, sicking the cops on us like that.
I thought it was funny, but I'm surprised you guys did because you got your asses kicked.
I guess I showed you the thing or two about dirty work.
But there is one thing Mitch Weaver is good at.
You are the king of revenge. We should open a revenge for hire business.
I think you boys can help me.
Okay, settle down, prostitutes. You each get $20, and this requires no sex. Whoa, you got a dead hooker in the trunk.
No, it can't be.
I've never seen so many dead hookers in all my life.
Lord knows I have.
Don't shoot this! This is not part of the commercial! Some jerk making your life miserable? You want revenge? Let us do your dirty work.
Yeah! Norm Macdonald of Saturday Night Live.
Hey, I think he's got his thumb up that dog's.
Chevy Chase.
What happened to your foot?
When you owe a bookie a lot of money, and you say blows off one of your toes, you still owe him the money. Doesn't seem fair to me.
For anyone too weak to fight back.
We're in prison. You know what prisoners do to each other all the time?
All right, let's go.
You sure you don't want him to?
For anyone who's ever landed on the bottom, your time has come.
You didn't count on my loyal army of prostitutes, did you?
Are you ready for some crazy rough sex? When I say let's go, you go.
Time you shut your cake hole, Yoko! Hey, movie line. Oh, how's that looking, baby?
He was supposed to keep driving.
Dirty Work.